So the remaining part here is to update the details here of what we are sending to the other side. Alrighty then. So how do we do this? We're going to use the session data, of course, because inside the checkout here, we have this session post data, which contains the information that we need in order to send our information. So let's see here with create. This is the checkout.php controller, by the way. So I'm looking for where we make the order, and this is the data that we send, post data, that one right there. So that contains the information we want. So I'm just going to copy this information, and go to checkout page here. And then I'll go to the top here where we have some PHP tags, and I just want to see what is contained in there. I don't know why it suggested that. So what I will say is, if is set, always need to check. If that is set, then I just want to print out what's going on in there. So print readable, like that. Great. But also, anyway, instead of print readable, I'm going to use show, because it will look much better. So back here, I will go to here, and let's try and do some shopping. Let's try with $12, $12.99. So let's just add some random data as usual. Continue. Okay, and finally we are here. So this is the information that I want here. So you can see it's address, state. So this is not really the information we need, is it? No. That is not the information. So let's go back and see what information we actually want. So data order details. 1 second here. Okay, so at this point we do unset the cart. So maybe not such a good idea. Let me do that, and let's check out what is in the cart instead. And since we don't have an order ID as well, this kind of presents a problem. Wait a minute. Okay, so remember that thing I commented out the other time? This one right here. Turns out we actually need it. So post data here. We'll have the order ID, and let's see here, data post. Okay, so let me get that back. Order ID there. I will need that again. So uncomment that, change of heart. And let's come down here and not unset this one just yet. So I'm going to copy this, because I need to remember to actually unset it right here. So I'll duplicate this last part. And then replace this value with the cart as well. So it turns out we need the cart as well. So we will just unset everything at this point. Alrighty then. So copy that. Let me come down to checkout.pay. And if that is set, the other one is probably set as well. So I'll duplicate this and paste this cart as well, so that we have all the information we need right there. Okay, good. So let's go back and try this again. So back to checkout. Let's go back home, and let's add another item. Checkout. So the information is still there. That's okay. Continue and pay now. Okay, great. So now this is what we have. We have the order number here, and we have the quantity. So order ID there. So we don't have the details for the total. We don't know how much should be paid here at this point, because we just have an order ID and we have that. So to fix this problem, let's go to our order class, because this is where we actually create things like the description. So I'm going to just copy this. This is not very ideal because we are creating this in two separate places, but usually it's better to create things in one place. So unfortunately here, I don't have time to remodel what we have done, so we're just going to do it that way. So I will come to functions.php here. Instead of returning that, I'm going to return, I'll put this in a bracket, and then I'll paste this here, like so. Okay, so that it matches what we have on the other side. Great. So what else do we need? If I go to the order class and I want to see how we derive the total here. So total comes from total there. So which means the total already exists by the time we are here. Or does it? So where does total come from? Okay, there we go. So that is total. So the thing is, we are getting the total from here, and it would be better to do these things in one location. So in order to get a total here, we just need the rows like they are here. And so what we can do is copy this. Let's go to functions.php. So let me just say, let's create a function called get_total. Sorry about that. We're going to supply the rows that are required here. And then let's paste this content here. And then let's do a return total, like so. Okay, so we have that, we have that, we have that. Okay, that is good. So get total rows. So let's copy that and let's get back to, and also we already have this get order ID. So we should use that as well, because it's always better to have just one place to get something similar. So if I go back to, where was I? Here. So instead of doing this here, what we will do is say total is equal to, and paste that instead, get total. And then we can get rid of all this, like so. Alrighty then, so now we have one place to get a total, which is good because we can reuse this when we need to. Now, one other thing we can do instead of having the total here, because if I go back to the checkout.php here, you'll see that before we go to the payment section, this is where we are saving the order. And once we save, we get all that information that we want. But before we give these rows here, we can add the total to the post data here. So if I can take a step back here and just copy that, or cut it out actually, what we will do instead is we will get the total from the post data here. So I will do this instead. I will say post total, like that. Okay, that changes things. And if I come back here, I can add to this by doing that. So I will do this, copy that, and push that there, and just say total, like that. Okay, great, is equal to get total rows, and then we do that. This will make sure that we have the total here before we even go any further. So in a similar manner, we can have the description. So where is the description here? If we go back to the order class, so right here where we have the description, we can get that from this function here, get order ID, or it should have been get order description. Maybe that would have been a better function name, but you can change these things as required. Now the reason I've changed that is so that if we have to change how this is done, we just change the function. But on both sides, wherever we need this, it would have changed. Because previously we were doing it separately. Here we were doing it separate to what we are doing in the function here. So that is never good. It's always good to just do things from one place. Okay, so we have our description, but we also need the description on the other side, just like we needed it for the total here. So what I would do instead is cut this one, and let's bring it here as well. Description, and then we're going to put post data like that and say description like so. Okay, great. Now we'll have to add it, of course, so we'll go back to the checkout.php, and exactly the same way we added this one here, we're going to add something new. But I will copy this now, put it here, and get order ID, that's fine, and then we'll have a description here, like so. Alrighty then. So we've added two pieces of data that were missing previously. So in the same way, you can add as much data as you want to this list. Just keep adding to it so that by the time you get to this section, we should have some different data here. So let me just cancel this and then we can start again. Let me go back to the shop. I'm sure there's stuff already in the cart, so let's go back and redo the whole system again. There's already data here, so let's go continue and let's click pay and see if we get much better data this time. So at least now we have a description and we have a total for how much we should spend. This is good because now we can use this data accordingly. So we have order ID, we have description, quite a repetition of information there, so maybe we can get rid of one of them, but let's keep them for now. Now what remains to do is to use this information inside the checkout.pay page. This is where we're echoing this data. So as you can see, we really don't need the cart, we just need the post data because the cart doesn't really have any information that we might want at this point. So if I come back to checkout.php, since we've already added what we need here, we can undo this cart unset there so that it can unset the cart. But it's entirely up to you. If you see that there's some errors that are coming up because of unsetting this information, you can always come back and comment it back. But for now, I think we need to unset that because we don't need that information. Any information you don't need, just remove it. Otherwise, it becomes baggage. So at this point, yeah, let me go back to checkout.pay here, and I will remove this because at this point it will be out of business. And then all I need to do now is to extract this. So if it's set, then I'm going to extract. So I'm just going to say extract. However, I think extract might be the wrong function to do things here. What extract will do is it will get the array keys here and convert them to variables. The problem is that we may not have the keys that we want, so I think it's better to just get the actual items we want, so total and description. So let's come back here and do just that. So I'm going to say total. We should have default values here, so I'm going to say total is equal to, actually we can use extract because we will have default values. So total is equal to 0, and then let's do description. Actually this is two different. Description is equal to, let's add a default description here, order 0, maybe something like this, just in case. And then we're going to say extract here, extract that. Now you have to be careful when using extract here because it can lead to very poor debugging, because sometimes you may not realize what's happening here and you may not know what variables are being extracted after the fact here. So just keep in mind that this is what's happening here. If you're having problems, you can come here and troubleshoot by echoing what's in here before we extract it. So if the extraction goes well, then these values will be replaced by the values from here. So now we can add total and description here confidently, knowing that they actually exist. So here I will put my PHP tags like so, put just the equal sign and put description over there because I know it actually does exist. But this is still JSON, so make sure the double quotes are there, and let's close that up like so. So in a similar manner, we're going to copy this and go to where it says amount. I'm not really sure which amount is which here, but let's just add on both sides the same amount just in case. So total, and let's do this one as well. Same thing, total. Okay, so if you had included the tax information, you would probably add it there and add the shipping here. But for now, let's add 0 for all these values, 0 there, 0 for tax. Okay, very good. So once we are done with this, this is it. So let's give it a try and see if the information propagates nicely to our thingy here. So let me refresh the page. So once I refresh the page, and my network has actually become worse. Where is this? Okay, now I can't see this. So I don't think it's the network problem. I think we are probably having an error. So what I will do is, let's undo what we have done step by step here until we find where the error is. So I'm going to undo, come back here again, undo. Okay, good. We have no more text. So let's refresh and see if things are different. Okay, there we go. So we get our buttons now. So it means the problem is with what we added. So let's see if we can go step by step and see where the issue actually is. So I'm going to go with the first one here. Okay, so over there, So let's see, description, just to make sure that the variable is correct there. I think that's fine. So let me come back and refresh. So let's see if we get anything right there just by changing the very first one. So things are good here, no problem. That's all good. Then let's go to the next one, redo, value, amount. So let's make sure, oh, so that's the issue. It's because amount is undefined and this is total. So that was my bad. So let me redo everything, and then I'm going to change amount to total. I got it right here. For some reason I got it wrong here. So let's refresh again and see if we get our buttons. And we get our buttons. Very nice. So now the only remaining thing to do is mute the information here. So I'm going to remove that so that we have this now. Let's refresh. Select a payment system. Very nice. And now let's see if we're going to get an order from there. So let's click PayPal. Now you can reduce these buttons, of course, by putting this whole thing in a div, so we can do something like that eventually. But for now, let's just see if things are actually working. Okay, there we go. Alrighty then, log in. Okay. Pay now. All right, order successful. Now we must confirm that the information we had sent actually went there. So let's see if we go to our online 00 web host, and let's go to our public HTML. Hopefully I am not signed out here, and unfortunately it seems that I am. So I'm going to let me move out of this. I need to log in here real quick. Let me not waste your time with the login system. I'll be right back after the login.